You may know Nobu from previous webinars, previous experiences. He's gotten around a lot in our industry over the years, which has really served us overall very well, and learning more about data, technology, trends, and all the important stuff for your business. So let me tell you a little bit about Nobu, and then I'll turn it over to him. Please feel free to ask any questions you have in the Q&A, and Nobu will get to them throughout the presentation. If we run out of time, we'll do our best to answer them after and send them on to you. Okay, Nobu, are you almost ready to take it? Let me tell them a little bit about you. 2 sentences. All right, Nobu is a real estate industry veteran since 1996. He is a student of real estate sales, marketing, communications trends, consumer trends, social media, and technology in the real estate industry, having adapted new school techniques into multiple successful real estate sales businesses, from Realtor to NAR Director to Association CEO. Nobu is now the Director of Association and Industry Affairs for Zillow Group, bringing tactical tips, tricks, and advice to help real estate business owners succeed and thrive. Nobu, you know all the drama in the industry the last year. Help our members walk away with some actionable items to help them succeed in their business today.
Hey, thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Kelly. It's good to be here with you with Oregon Realtors. Always, I feel like grew up in Alaska. I started my real estate career up there, and it's nice being in the Pacific Northwest again, at least in spirit only. We're going to talk some consumer trends today. We're going to talk about how it means for your business. No propaganda here. Come in peace. It is really about how your business is going to be looking over the next couple of years, coming off of unprecedented 3-4 years in real estate sales, which I think we all know at this point wasn't real. We're down to the brass tacks now, and what we should be doing are things, frankly, we should have been doing way before COVID happened or anything like that. So, what this hot market means coming forward, it'll be there. It's a matter of patience. And what we're going to talk a lot about today is marketing, right? And how to do things better when it comes to showing off your value proposition. Jenny and Kelly and I were talking before we started here that, it's a weird time. Showing your value proposition and showing your trust proposition is something a lot of us didn't need to do. But I will say that right now, the folks who were doing the work, marketing better, being a lot more consumer centric in the way they act, it wasn't about a sale. It was about gathering people around a common goal. They're still reaping the rewards of that now. Part of my job is to go across the country and see what's being successful in the industry. And that's what I see more and more. And we'll talk a little bit about that today over the next hour. So I'm going to share my screen here. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Kelly and Jenny will jump in because it's really hard for me to see all that stuff, but we'll go from here. So consumer data, what it means for your business. We'll jump right into this. I think what we know now is what I think has always been. Consumers are going to be the biggest disruptors real estate will ever deal with. I was a longtime realtor, sold real estate in Alaska, California, and Washington State before going over to NAR. And then my last 3 years at NAR was during the initial filings for the settlement and everything else that we're seeing the end result of now. But everything about what we should have been doing then are things that we have to do now. What do buyers, sellers, customers, clients need from you? And what don't they know they need from you? That is going to be the trick going forward when it comes to your business as the real estate market tightens up even further. Think about consumers being the biggest disruptors in real estate, and we're going to be okay. What value do you bring to them? Now, when it comes to the market, the perception of the market, not the reality of the market, is going to be their biggest driver. What people feel is going to drive how they engage with the biggest financial transaction of their lives, right? So when it comes to how you interact and engage with people, don't tell them the things that they think that they know or reaffirm maybe the untruths that are out there. What do they need to know? What is the truth of the market? When it comes to real estate, it's going to be how they feel no matter what, right? So how you earn mind share and how you think about shaping perceptions of the future starts right now. Real estate's never been a right now transaction. People dream about buying and selling real estate for 6 months up to 2 years in a normal market, depending solely on things like affordability. Now you've got other things to deal with right now when you got the price of eggs, price of gas that are still just out of control. The inflationary issues we're still dealing with now. Will things get better? No one knows. But real estate's a huge part of life. How you help people through these life changes is going to be absolutely huge for your business. Your job now as agents isn't about just giving people numbers. I don't need you for that anymore. I've got Google, the largest search engine in the world, telling me things that I need to know in the ways that I think I need to know them based on previous searches. The way technology has shaped the way people feel is almost kind of scary. Okay, and we're seeing it over and over again, and it's not even what's on your laptop; it's what's on these phones. Right? You have this much real estate. See what I did there? To make an impression on people based on their wants and their needs, and it's got to feel customized to them. But now, get away from the idea of giving people more and more data. I don't need you for that anymore. Data doesn't go anywhere. Data doesn't move me. Data doesn't make me feel information. Wisdom and expertise does. How you market wisdom and expertise, how you engage with consumers with wisdom and expertise is going to be the biggest game changer when it comes to real estate. And what you need to think about more than anything is how you differentiate yourself from tech. I know a lot of you guys freak out about the company that I work for, but I'll tell you right now, one, a lot of folks use us to make money. But the big thing now that I've been here 2 years behind the curtain, there's no one that wants to out tech people. How people use tech, how people use information, and how people use wisdom is going to be key to their business going forward. And you're seeing now a lot of this mature as folks come out of this kind of post-COVID world into this new economy that we're dealing with. No more data, guys. I need wisdom and expertise from you. And wisdom and expertise on nearly everything before, during, and after the transaction. Think beyond the transaction for everything going forward. Now, before we get into the stats, what I really want you to think about is what it means to work with you. What we're seeing more and more now is that legacy terminology still matters. And let's look in the chat here. There's a lot of questions coming up. Anything I need to know, Kelly or Jenny? You're good? Good? All right. Legacy terminology like realtor means something. What does it mean to work with a realtor, right? Change the way that the dynamic from one of data and numbers to wisdom and intelligence. Who is your North Star? Your buyers and sellers are your North Star. Those are the people you work with in your transaction now are great. But we've all learned that, especially in this post-COVID world, what you do before the transaction and after the transaction absolutely matters. Now, what we have to stop doing is asking the same questions that we ask over and over again. I remember when I first met you, Jenny, the number one thing that people were asking then, and 100 years previous to that, what CRM are you using? How are you keeping up with your past clients? You know what? See these things? These phones make really good phone calls. Pick up the phone and talk to people. Okay? How are people going to know that they are your North Star without you picking up the phone and talking to them? How are they going to know it going forward? This is when I'm urging all of you to be better than the tech companies that are out there. Be better than us, guys, when it comes to what it means to work with an actual person in a very human transaction, and how do they know it, okay? Now, technology is getting kind of nuts. As many of you guys know, artificial intelligence now is starting to permeate everything. It is the one thing that I've seen over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years that honest to God scares the living daylights out of me. More in the fact that it's not looking to like take over the world, but it's looking to disintermediate relationships in ways that we've never seen before. So what you're going to see more and more of, and this is a ChatGPT interface here that Google is working on, right? Google's a verb, ChatGPT is now a verb, AI is a verb. Like, what do realtors do? Now, when you look at this, a lot of realtors that I know look at that. I've done this presentation a number of times now. They look at this and go, this is great. This is stuff that I do every day. But what you need to look at, guys, is how much of this can be teched out. Property search, market insights. Yeah, that could be teched out. Selling for the right price. Now, finding a price is one thing. The right price is a wholly different thing. We've all, I know one of the reasons why I got out of this business is talking to a seller who thinks that the house is worth this much, but it only is worth this much because of what they perceive as the value of their home, right? Marketing properties. These are all things now that frankly can't get checked out. You know what I don't see here? Private property rights. I don't see realtor leaders out there fighting for change, holding up after the transaction, things like mortgage interest deductions, flood insurance, fire insurance. I'm in Colorado here. Fire insurance is absolutely huge, right? You guys are going to see a lot of information needed from California people who are not going to be able to rebuild in California, are going to want to move to your neck of the woods. It's going to happen, folks, right? So what you need to think about is not how local real estate is. We know that. Your expertise and your knowledge is incredible at the local level, but access to it now is global, guys, and always has been and always will be, right? So go beyond this. Go to the brass tacks. What do you all do before, during, and after the transaction? If you're one of the 60, 70 people, 100 people engaged right now, you're making a difference. Share that information, use that as marketing, and talk about that as why I should want to use you. Now, trust, transparency, empathy, acknowledgement, being frictionless with wisdom and intelligence is huge. But if I can get you to do one thing as we get into these stats here, is to start thinking about humanizing your message. Talk to people, not market to other realtors. 3BR, 2BA, charm, and card doesn't mean anything anymore, folks. People don't look at prices anymore when they're looking at houses. They're looking at cost per month, folks. Consumers have changed the way they interact with us. We must change the way we interact with them. Value proposition is one thing. Trust proposition is another. Transparency is huge. I worked for Katie Johnson and the NAR legal team for a number of years. Transparency about everything, how you're paid, what you're worth. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Be empathetic, guys. Every time somebody does this, it's the first time they're going to do it, buy or sell. Doesn't matter how long they've done it. And frankly, it's going to be 10 to 11 years now well, in between transactions, okay? Acknowledge things. Acknowledge what they need and what they think that they need. Be frictionless with the information, but talk about it in a human way, okay? So let's get into these stats. Now, this is one, I was in Greenville, South Carolina the other day. Folks saw this and went, oh God, freaking out, right? The 81% of folks, according to our stats, and a little bit to NAR's, by the way, I did reach out to the research team about this. There are no plans for people to sell in the next 3 years, 80 to 81% here, okay? Now, here's the thing. There's a really good business in the 20%. We have to start thinking about like what sellers are going to want. Every single one of you guys are thinking about seller leads right now, and seller leads are really, really hard because they're very intentional. And you are, by the way, a destination market. So folks will retire there from more expensive parts of the West Coast. Now, think about though the fact that the 81% may not want to sell, 20% will, but the key word here is 3 years. What is your runway for those couple of years leading up to that initial transaction as we go forward? Okay. You've got a runway you need to prepare for now. 20% of people want to sell in the next 3 years. Where they're going, why they're doing it, I'll give you stats here in a second. These are stats. And now here, what's cool about this is not a lot of difference between this and the NAR stats. Financial stats about the current home, where you're seeing the variance changes are pretty cool, right? So like loving your current home, folks are now towards the end of COVID who maybe settle on a home, they're loving their home more and more. They want to do some more renovations. That is going to be kind of fluctuating for a little bit, but you know, not being able to find a new home is an absolute hassle for sellers that are out there right now, right? So, like, what is the exit strategy that sellers are going to have? Financial uncertainty. I thought that those stats would be a little more, but those are holding steady as well, right? So you're seeing the stabilization of the reasons why people are staying and why they're coming right now, right? refinancing of mortgages. I suspect that will go up as rates go down. But I think, you're seeing the stabilization happen. So I think you can bank on what the 20% wants starting from right now. Now, 3 years is what we're talking about. You guys are really good at the transaction here on the right. The opportunity on the left is going to be 3 years. The what the hell am I doing? The runway is 3 years now. Where does that go? And it starts with, guys, education, education, education. 73% of leads are not ready at first contact. I remember vividly as an agent when I sold, guys, I could see the light dying in the eyes of the buyer and seller when they realize what they don't know about the transaction. Okay. Because it's mortgage and title and insurance and taxes, all these things that are out there. What are you doing to educate beyond the transaction right now on your guys' websites? Because right now, these people, 3 and 4 of them, are confused as all heck even now. What you don't have anymore is a sense of urgency and low interest rates that were driving the market kind of COVID and the years pre-COVID, right? 3 and 4 people are not ready. So 3 and 4 of that 20% are not ready when they first meet with you. What we usually do is as agents, we just throw them back into the wild and say, hey, whenever you're ready, give me a call. You got to nurture them right now. It's no longer lead generation. It's lead curation, lead curation, lead curation, right? Where things are getting a little weird is this post-COVID world. If you had a buyer, folks, that was shut out in 2020 and are looking to buy now, that same house costs them $47,000 more on average. Now, remember how people are looking, especially buyers, right? They're looking at costs per month. $47,000 extra that they didn't know they needed to have. Yeah. Are you helping people or educating them on how to save 10 grand a year over the next couple of years? Right? How much more money buyers need now for the same home is the biggest issue. Stop telling buyers that it's better than rent. Guys, they know that. It's not about the rent. It's about saving. They need education for that. Okay? $47,000 extra dollars. Now, they look at the media and the media says things like this. There are 237 markets where a first-time home is going to cost you $1 million or more. None of them are in Oregon, folks. None of them. So when you're thinking about like, okay, what is that first-time home buyer looking for? They're getting inundated with, oh crap, I need to go and save some more. And they're looking at $1 million being a lot. And it is, folks. But Oregon is heck of a lot cheaper than most of the West Coast states you're dealing with. What are you doing to reach out and talk to those buyers that are out there right now? And if they're a seller right now with equity or potential for profit, what are you doing to help them with their exit strategy? But 237. This is expected to get it in the 250s over the next couple of years as markets like Boise, Idaho. I'm in Colorado right now. Colorado Springs is going to be one of those markets, which has never been before, right? So educating them on not only things like affordability, but where they need to go as an exit strategy is going to be huge. One of the things that we have an issue right now is $1.7 trillion in record credit card debt, folks. So again, it's saving money while also paying off debt that people are dealing with right now. Okay, these are factors that are pre and post COVID, as folks have had trouble saving. Where they go because of this is going to be huge. But this is where VA, FHA loan, that type of information is going to be incredibly valuable going forward, right? Where education is huge is this. Renters, there are 8 million of them right now that if they knew that hey, instead of spending 40 to 50% of your income on rent, don't get that uber nice place. Save 30% or less of your income, or spend 30% or less on rent. Save the rest. That'll help you get that next down payment quicker, right? Education is huge. Jenny, you're off mute.
No, but we got a question, and I apologize that I didn't get to it sooner. Do you see AI becoming a major factor in real estate sales now and in the future? If so, would you explain?
Yeah, what AI is going to be doing a lot is getting like disparate pieces of information to talk to each other. So here's a good example of that. Okay. There are a lot of financing apps that are running AI now that run algorithms on top of the financing, right? Within an app, within your banking for information that'll tie into things like your credit card debt, whatnot, and it'll know based on the rate that you are bringing in money and the rate that you are spending money, how much you can do things like save for a first payment for your home. AI is going to be doing a lot of that type of work, talking to disparate pieces of tech. And this is where it's weird in real estate because most of you guys are using vendors who don't like that. Okay. They don't want their stuff talking to other stuff because they don't want to help. They want to just keep you guys paying money. Right. But the future of your CRMs talking to a banking app is absolutely huge. That's why Rocket Money wants you to use their unsubscribe app more and more. People are going to be algorithms. Okay. Now that's kind of the con for a lot of folks. The pro is that every AI nerd I talk to in real estate wants to get their tech to talk to other tech so that you're freed up to spend more time doing what you're good at, and that's what engaging with clientele. Okay, because if you're not trying to figure out how to get a lead into a lead curation funnel into the CRM and doing all that stuff, which I've been around for about 100 years, and that's been a 100-year question. If tech can do that for you, and you get another 20, 30, 40 minutes a day to engage with the client, an hour or 2 hours every couple of days, that's days in a month that you'll get back to do what you're good at. You'll be able to do more with less tech. And you're gonna have to watch out for that, right? And this is what I'll talk to Jenny and Kelly, like getting the good vendors in who wants to do that stuff is pretty cool. Now, the MLS stuff, you'll see a lot of AI already integrated in the MLS world, right? We're in a weird time right now where people don't think swastikas in your as part of your art and your background is going to turn people off, but no, it is. But there's AI that can read that stuff and say, oh no, we're going to kick this photo out. So more than anything, watch out for efficiencies, watch out for things that that lead you to do more and brings your technology stack closer together. AI, I don't know much AI that wants to disintermediate the realtor because there's 7 million transactions done last year on each side, right? And emotion and stress cannot be AI'd out. And if you have a nerd saying that, they've never bought a house before. Okay. Good. And we could talk about that after all this too. Right. And by the way, all these stats, by the way, you got AI chewing on this. People are going to be algorithms soon. And you know what I love is that you have these 20-year-old kids hating that. They want to be out in the world. We have to bring people out in the real world quicker because nobody likes being an algorithm right now, folks. All right. So you need to earn the ability to get people out from behind their computers. That's what we're talking about here. Okay. And so as we get back into these stats, right, 6%, mortgage homeowners with rate above 6%, double that of 2022. So you're seeing people getting back out there. They're starting to buy homes again. 6% is now the new normal. We knew that before that when 2%, 3% interest rates were the norm. If you think that, by the way, 2 to 3% interest rates are going to come back, don't hold your breath. Okay, I got a bridge to sell you if you do. They're not going to come back. But like kind of pre-COVID, if we get back to that pre-COVID world where 6, 7% interest rates feel normal to people, you're going to be okay. It's about the cost of gas, by the way, and eggs and bread that's gonna help. But you're seeing more and more people become more and more comfortable with this. And by the way, ask a seller especially what their interest rates are, because what we're seeing is that from the 4 to 5% interest rate is where people are looking to sell. If they've got that, they're comfortable with it. They have enough equity. They've educated them enough, at least in their head, to know that they're going to make enough money off of this, and they can jump up to the 6% interest rate without a problem. But these are the people right now more inclined to sell immediately, folks. So ask your sellers about this right now. Okay. So what do? What does this lesson teach us? Educate, educate, educate. Get better at client intake. Your client intake, by the way, are customers right now stalking your presence online. Okay. They're stalking your education elements online. They're meeting you at open houses and want to know why I should use you. You can't give him your card and expect them to call you. What you need to do is point them somewhere and say, hey, if you want to learn more about the real estate experience on the buy or sell side, hit me up on my website. Okay. And by the way, this is an AI question too. AI can do this for you. There are a lot of marketing engines that do this. I will also tell you that it's not local enough because there isn't enough information out there local that can tell people the difference between Oregon and California, for example. So again, people are going to win this. Nevertheless, people are stalking you right now, folks. Your client intake starts right now for a purchase or sale 3 years from now. But this has been normal. It was 6 months to 2 years in a normal market. It's 3 years now. Educate, educate, educate. Ensure your marketing is useful. Ensuring your presence is useful. And if you don't know, get your previous clients into a room and ask them. And stop annoying people. Stop annoying customers out there, okay? You want to attract. You don't want to annoy them and push them away. All right. What sellers want is interesting. 55% of selling intention homeowners want a home with upgraded and more desirable features. So, right, you're gonna have to help people with this. Homeowners that want a home with upgraded and more desirable features, this is a huge jump, bigger than normal. Folks are wanting a turnkey home. Sellers out there, educate sellers. It's not about what they can get for their home now. It's about what more they can get by doing the staging, the things that you're good at. Okay. But this is what folks want. So they might even have an upgraded home now. But if you're talking to a seller who wants an even more upgraded home, you better ask them, like, get down and dirty with what they want, because what they want and where they want it is now even more elevated now because they bought something for a premium that was already at a premium. Okay. So they're used to paying more for that. Now, you can always talk to them too, but using your contractors, your plumbers, your everyone that helps you kind of improve homes to get them to buy a home that maybe needs a little bit of work to gain more equity now. Start talking about that now, right? Even things like FHA, home improvement loans, remodeling loans, is it making a comeback? Talk about that stuff with these first-time buyers, especially. Market trends. Talk about trends that you're seeing in the homes that are selling for more. Talk about it. This is when Pinterest is actually a good thing. Instagram is a good thing. Stock that stuff. This is why influencers, folks, are a thing. You need to be a realtor influencer when it comes to going out there and attracting business. Marketing the trends. What are you seeing out there? What are the big differences between now and the COVID world? And even bring back history. Because COVID wasn't that long ago, but even the pre-COVID world wasn't that long ago either. Talk about what you saw before that, what sticks out. Content's all around you. Market that stuff now, all right? Sellers, though, half of them need profit or going to use the equity for another purchase, right? So I would be out there right now talking about what equity actually means, what profit actually means. And more than anything, this is a really good exercise. Stop using the word equity. No one knows what that means. What's the potential profit? And what's cool about using the word profit is that it, like any commission conversation, just kind of rolls into it. Right? Cost selling home is this. I'm not going to take away from equity. This is what your profit is going to be once you use me and my expert services to sell your home. Okay. But talk like a human being. This is a really good example for that. Stop talking like a realtor. Start talking like a human being when it comes to consumer engagement. Right. So we're seeing again, 89%. This I think is going to be the biggest problem. These people have rates less than 6%. These are the folks that are out there. I think this might be the question that you ask first in your intake forms. What are you using? What are you doing right now for your forms? What are you doing or for your interest rates? And are you thinking about refinancing? Like you can't get any lower. Let's cash out your profit now. Go find you something that's great while there still is room for that. Give people ease of mind about the ability to find and afford a new home. This is where you're going to have to go across the internet, right? And this is where things are getting weird too. You're having brokerages starting to keep things in house. It's a weird time. This is actually a really good time to be using a well-intentioned, a great realtor with a great network, by the way, who knows a lot of other folks, right? Now is the time for the top 10. What is it like? It's the 74% of agents last year did no business. Are you one of those? Or are you part of the 26% that did a lot of it? Okay. Like having that network, engaging with fellow realtors, about what's out there, not only in your state, but outside of your state, is absolutely huge, right? Ability to find and afford a new home is going to be absolutely huge going forward. So talk about that. Everyone seemingly, they know that they can sell their home for a profit. So you got to stop telling people things like cash out your equity, cash out your profit. Give them exit strategies. Now, your exit strategy, if you're like a Portland agent, what is an exit strategy for those folks? Is it a suburb? Is it going closer to the coast, right? You guys in general, I mentioned it earlier, are an exit strategy for the Californians that are going to be looking to come to the States. An exit strategy, guys, the best way to look at it are a couple of ways. Look up census data. This is the reason why there was so much movement for census data over the last during this last census poll. Go to census.gov. Check out where people are moving to Oregon from and where they're moving from your state. And Google Trends. Trends.google.com are two of the best ways right now to give people that exit strategy, whether they're coming to your state or leaving your state more than anything, or your neighborhood or your city. I know you guys are statewide, but you can use the information that's out there right now to help people make these really good decisions. And little things like watch for the news when the moving van folks talk about migration of sellers. It's really cool information out there that you can use to talk about, hey, what's happening inside and outside your state. But know this, guys, this is a big one. We did some pretty good consumer engagement post commission settlement with folks who had to pay for their agent on the buy and sell side. 85% of buyers reported using an agent. 89% of sellers reported using an agent. Of those, 73% of sellers reported the commission was fair. 70% of buyers reported the commission was fair. This is great, guys. Fair. What's cool is that on top of that, you had 7% of sellers and 9% of buyers. These are people who paid out of their own pocket for you and your services, who thought that your services were fair or you were paid not enough. This is fantastic, guys. We're talking 80% of people, almost 90% of people think that you guys got paid really, really well and deserve it. Do not shy away from your value. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to market your team. Your team are your mortgage people, title people, lawyers, dog walkers, contractors, plumbers, electricians. These are the folks, guys, that make the transaction go before, during, and after the transaction. You are worth it, okay? You're worth it. So more than anything right now, if you're talking like a human being, thinking before, during, and after the transaction, I would get some of your past clients to be your advocates for you right now. You know, Jenny and I, we're sitting there. The NAR has got surrogates. People are supposed to go out there and talk about the value of NAR. You know what? Fine. You have the ability to use your past and present clients to be your surrogate and advocates for you. Okay. Now, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of trying to be perfect. If Dr. Mark Lewis couldn't get 5 stars for saving some dude's life, you're not going to be able to do it either. You're not curing cancer. You're helping people, the single largest financial transaction of their life. But guys, don't strive for perfection. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to do things that aren't going to be you know, 5 stars. Don't ask for it. People want a little bit of imperfection there. It's going to be okay. Now, what's your biggest competitor? It's this company. This is Amazon.com. Guys, every one of us here is an Amazon Prime member. Every single one of us. Okay. This is the ugliest website and app in the world. It's ugly. Okay. But is it useful? Heck yeah, it is. Now, think about Amazon. There's going to be a generation of kids that are going to Google Amazon. And this website's going to come up first, not the river. It has reinvented what trust and value means now. It is the marketplace for all things you buy. It's changed customer behavior, guys. I didn't know I can, if you can see right in the middle of this page here, I can subscribe to toilet paper and paper towels and chips. Like, I didn't even know I can do that until Amazon said, well, yeah, here you go. Right? We'll have whatever you want dropped at your front door at the first of every month, or whenever you'd like. Okay. This is your biggest competitor here. Amazon's a verb, folks. You need to be a verb. Okay. Now, when you look at like the brass tacks of what they're doing, this is a $6 cord, $6 power cord. And I know everything about the $6 power cord, folks. I've got 9,483 ratings. I can get a white, red, gray, blue, or black power cord. They try to upsell me to a 12-pack. I don't know why I would need 12 of these cords. There's a 6-foot to a 10-foot cord option, right? Folks, there is more information here about this power cord, from the price to how it's put together, to the options, comparing and contrasting. I know about the different cords that I can buy. There are 100 videos on this power cord, guys. There is more information here about the single largest financial transaction of my life, folks. This is your biggest competitor. The mindset that people have when they're browsing this site and getting information that they think is valuable on whatever they need. Look at the like $6.49 for Prime. You can get it in an hour if you would like. Okay. This right now mentality that people have is also your biggest competitor. They don't want to call you. And we've seen it when they do call you and they do engage with you. 3 and 4 of them aren't ready for the thing that you want them to do, or that they wanted them to do. Okay. This is your biggest competitor. You need to be a lot more educational on the single largest financial transaction of people's lives, both during, before, and then after it, than Amazon is with a $6.49 power cord. Okay? Do that. This is the reason why tech has been winning in years past. But I'll tell you right now, if you give people this much information on the locality of you, the wisdom and expertise that you bring to the table, your team that you're bringing to the table, your contractors, your lawyers, your mortgage people, your title people, these are all things that matter to folks now, because this company has changed the way folks think. Okay. And if you look at the way other websites around the internet work, exact same way. They're inundating people with not just information, but for wisdom and intelligence as well. Okay. This is what's changing. And this is the reason why you have to as well. And frankly, more and more people that I talk to that have done this, like the folks that I talk to now, the folks that I did back when I first met Jenny 5, 10, 20 years ago, when I was doing, a CE for y'all, like the folks who were doing it back then, they're still making money now, and they have no problems getting people to sign any agreement and to sign up with them right away. Because frankly, if you're like this online, you're worthy of getting people offline in the real world sooner for business right now. Okay. So what does that look like? This is a website that I would encourage all of you guys to rip off and duplicate. This is burlinggameproperties.com. Okay. Is a good friend of mine. His name is Raziel Unger, runs a very small team in the Burlingame neighborhood of San Francisco. Jenny, I think you probably know about this. This is across the bay from San Francisco, right? This is where you go when you want to pop out kids and spend like $5 million on a shoebox.
Joe Montana lives there.
And Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Right. So like this website, what Raziel does is absolutely amazing. He starts at the end of every year, okay, bringing out all of his buyers and sellers and asking them if they want to be a part of his marketing. And we're raising a generation of narcissists, so why not use them? Okay, popping out kids and doing all this stuff. And what Raziel does is gets them to do the talking about the transaction. Raziel talks about, or these people talk about, the exceptional service Raziel brought to the table. These people talk about the trials and tribulations of buying a home. These people talk about why they should use Raziel. Before, during, and after the transaction, it's been absolutely amazing watching him go. This is a guy who spent a ton of money every year on his website, but settled on this. He doesn't even have real estate search on his site anymore. Everything about his website, his marketing, his presence, his videos. He has a YouTube page, all this other stuff. Google him, check it out, rip off and duplicate it. But everything about this guy's presence is the service I bring to the table and what other people say about those services that separates him from the pack. Because how many realtors are there in California? There's like 200,000 of them. And then you got another 50,000, 100,000 non-realtors that are out there that can help them do a transaction. Rip this off and duplicate it, right? But what's really, really cool about it is that, these people talk about, like, again, front and center, right? Why I should use them. But like he goes really local with these neighborhoods. San Carlos, Belmont, Burlingame, Redwood City, Redwood Shores, goes out there, hires a photographer to go and take these pictures about why you want to live in the neighborhood, and is upfront about the neighborhoods and the schools, the stats and trends, everything that folks want. Look at this range here, 1.9 to 5.5 million. All right. Median sales prices are huge. Like good, like it's good, by the way, median average, go and put them both out there. Like, but overwhelm people with not only the data, but the wisdom and intelligence that are behind it too. Timeless elegance, graceless charms, supplemented by buyers and sellers that used him in the past to do some really, really good things. Okay. All right. This guy, the guys, by the way, like you don't have to spend a ton of money on your site. You can start a blog. We were talking about blogs 20 years ago. Blogs still matter now. Your website still matters now. Like yourname.com still matters now. It's what you differentiate yourself with what your competition's not doing and what technology companies are not doing. Getting much more local, nitty-gritty, wisdom and intelligence is absolutely huge. Okay. CRM. That's a whole myriad of CRMs out there. I would go out there right now and use your CRM and make sure that you're figuring out your before, during, and after transaction, folks. Who's ready now? Who's ready a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? But think about that 3-year plan. And if for me, your CRM needs to be injecting email engagement. Email still works, by the way, just not crappy emails, right? Your subject line, right? How to save for a home, how to not get your pipes to freeze. Where you're seeing trend wise and sell in homes that you're selling, that's selling for more. Make sure that the emails that you're sending out to potential sellers mean something, and starting with that subject line over the course of the next 3 years. Okay. And more than anything, be pro people. About being pro people is absolutely huge. You got to do the things, frankly, and humanize the things the association folks, us nerds, cannot do, and frankly, don't want to do in your town in Oregon. Okay. The best way to go out there to attract business is to be a person, folks. This fake it till you make it mentality in real estate never really worked, right? And we'll tell you right now, it works even less. How you out there and you help people are absolutely huge. Start with the folks that you helped. If you helped 5, 20, 50 families last year with their transaction, show them off, folks. It shouldn't take 5 scrolls of Facebook to find really cool people excited about the joy that you brought to the table with their transaction, folks. This is what makes you you. Technology cannot do this, guys, right? You're seeing the stats already. Maybe 7, 8, 9% of folks will sell it on their own. Maybe, or they'll use a tech company, they'll use for sell by owner services or whatever, different business models to do it on their own. You don't want those people anyways. You want the folks that want to use your services. They don't want to do a full-time job by selling their home. They don't want to have a full-time job by trying to find a home. Attract the folks that want to use you in a much more premium way and treat it as a premium service, folks. What you do is a premium. Treat it that way, right? Because you're worth it. You're worth every bit of the dollars people spend on your commission to get the transaction done. And after the transaction, this is where things like 1031 exchange. We are in a weird political time right now, guys. 1031 exchange might go away. Be on top of that. Fire insurance, flood insurance, homeowners insurance in general, right? If you're engaged with what's happening with the association especially, use that in your marketing. I know Oregon Realtors has a lot of really cool stuff because I've seen it. I've seen it on their social media. I've seen it on their websites. Use that stuff and make it make sense to a human being. The marketing stuff is all around you. Just make sure that a human being can understand it years before they want to use you. Okay. That's a trick. Think 3 years out for these people. All right. So I don't know if we got questions here. I'll turn my slide off.
no questions, but wow, that was some really great reminders of things everyone should have been doing. And now it resonates more than ever why you should have been doing it. And the message, one of the messages I take away from what you said is be proactive. Don't be reactive, be proactive. And then you're going to be ready when the next situation surfaces, which inevitably it will, who knows what, but it will. And I wrote down your quote, differentiate yourself, which makes sense when you're determining what your value proposition is. That's the only way you're going to be different than your competitors. Differentiate yourself.
Yeah,
Good information, Doug.
yeah, I think the market's starting to shake itself out now. I think a really good practice for you guys heading into your agents out there, by the way, is heading into your Capitol Hill run, right? How do you guys have any real estate issues you're watching out for?
Well, we have several biggies. Our market's tough. Our legislative, we have legislative challenges here for our industry that are very difficult, but we have a couple really great issues. We're modernizing our real estate licensing statute, Chapter 696. We're working on a condo defect liability law, which the current laws on the book make it difficult to create new housing in the condo space. And why am I having a brain cramp on the last? I mean, there's several things, but those are our two biggies. And session just got underway 2 weeks ago, so we're in the beginning stages of all the fun.
Yeah, if you're one of those people heading to the Capitol Hill runs, like start your marketing now on it.
March 19th is our Realtor Day at the Capitol. You all should see it in your inboxes, marketing pieces. Please sign up. It's such a great opportunity to learn about our issues and meet with your legislators and network with your peers across the state. It's amazing opportunity. March 19th in Salem.
Yeah, you guys got to understand that like it's only what 2 to 3% of the overall realtor population truly get involved at the state and local level. And I got to tell you right now, that is a huge differential. It was huge for me when I was an agent, is to talk about that private property rights fight and how it makes sense to people, right? Like going out there and fight condo reforms, huge. There's 200 bills in Colorado. I'm part of the LPC committee here that have some real estate related issue to it, right? Guys, like if you're going, take a picture of yourself, less selfies, but talk about the issues that are out there, right? Yeah,
providing talking points, everything you'll get from us. You just have to come in, learn, be present. And one thing I've found over the years, because without really being a policy junkie and understanding, you think your voice doesn't matter, but it matters so much. And our legislators want to meet with you. They want to hear your stories. That's what moves the needle. Yes, we talk about the actual legislative language and the nuances in the bill and what it means, but our legislators live in your communities. They want to hear your stories with your clients or your personal stories. I can't emphasize that enough. It's so important.
Yeah, Rhonda mentioned scamminess. Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm gonna be a jerk about this, but I'll tell you that like the younger you are, like I gotta, but yeah, I'm in this weird living situation now where I'm meeting a bunch of 20-year-old kids, 25-year-old kids. By the way, none of them know what a realtor is, so you really need to reinvent yourself, right? But they know that what they're seeing on their TikToks and their Instagrams are scammy, right? But there's no real world outlet for them. And it's weird, like you think that these kids would want to stand behind their computers, but they want to go out in the real world as much as possible, but they're using their phones only, by the way, right? With influencers kind of eked in through the TikToks of the world. And by the way, you don't need to be on TikTok if you're going to use it awkwardly. You're just going to weird people out. But like the TikTok stuff, these folks are giving them the 2, 3, 4 brands to go look towards, or the stores they should go to. They're using it as a way to get out there. You got to get influencers to talk about you, right? Don't pay them, but like next time you're helping a kid with a large financial transaction, get them to record it, man. It's pretty cool stuff when you get them to document what they're going through. And AI is going to be part of it. AI right now is pulling from what is available on the internet, and so much of it is garbage right now, right? And the younger these kids are, the more that they're going to go out in the real world sooner. So get that attention, get that business. And I think the big thing is if you're one of these folks that are held hostage by your phone and think everything on it's real, you should get out in the real world too. There's so much garbage online. It's not even funny. So yeah, I get you with the scamminess. It's going to get better though, as AI, our robot overlords, do try to get better with what's real and what's not.
Is scamminess a word?
Scamminess? Yeah, I think so.
But Rhonda, I like it. Let's make up some new words for the, what do we call that dictionary? Not Webster's,
If somebody had their hand up, if they wanted to put that question into the chat. But yeah, I think you'll see a lot better coming from AI. I just heard that Elon Musk wanted to buy OpenAI, turn it from a nonprofit to a for-profit company. That'll be interesting to watch. Google, by the way, I would download the Google Gemini app, put it on your phone, and just Google or just search what people are looking for and how you can get better. Don't do things, by the way, like I used AI to write a listing description because I can do that. I don't need you for that. Do the things that AI can't do, right? And you're going to be okay. I think we got another question here. Nope. Are you okay? All right. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Nobu. We can always count on you to tell it like it is. No sugarcoating. Appreciate that. And I do want to ask you, but I know this might not be appropriate. Why are you living with a bunch of 20-year-olds?
I'm in between housing right now. I'm in a bougie apartment building. They're paying much more.
God.
They're paying more for rent, by the way, and they're maxing out their they're not making much because you're looking at, if again, census data will tell you, by the way, that folks aren't making any more money now than they were almost 20 years ago. But then like you got to factor in inflation, so they're making even less. Financial literacy is a huge part of what's needed with these folks. How do you save money? Right? How do you save money? And it's literally just go to Starbucks 2 to 3 days less a week. And, it's micro transactions that they think about right now because they have no problem spending $2-3 on something stupid that they see on an Instagram or on a TikTok. But yeah, it's a weird time right now, but just know it's not about a young or old thing with real estate folks. It's a trust thing. If they trust you, they're going to use you no matter how old or young they are.
Gosh, thank you, Nobu. Oh,
Got one. There we go.
Rhonda gave her favorite quote. You don't need to get on TikTok if you're just going to use it awkwardly and create. Oh, that was Nobu's quote that Rhonda's taking.
Yeah, be TikTokable, guys. You don't need to be on TikTok. Frankly, it's a waste of time if you don't have the reach. But if somebody wants to rave about you, let them do it. Somebody wants to Yelp about you, let them do it. Start with that. You're gonna be all right.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll see you in March.
Yes, we'll see you in March, if not sooner. Thank you very much. Kelly, did you have
ask about the website you mentioned when you had the family up on the screen?
Oh, it's here. I'll put it in the chat. Burlingame.
And another one about, they're hearing about an upcoming market crash, 27, 28. What are your thoughts?
Oh, there are. I mean, here's the thing. Unless the market actually crashes, it doesn't really matter. It's how people feel about the market, right? I remember, Jenny, when the actual market crashed? It was awful. Like 2007, 2008, 2009 was absolutely awful. I don't think it's about the market. I think it's most people. What we're seeing is that it just costs so much to live. Right.
Yeah, I agree. Regardless of the market, people are always buying and selling. There just might be less people buying and selling. So you really have to work at it. This is where you differentiate yourself. You're still you work, you're gonna sell.
Yeah. And maybe if you're talking about a housing market, again, you got to rely on your stats. And for those of you guys who are real number crunchers, when I was an agent, I loved crunching numbers and like historical data between, I was in Minnesota at the time, in neighborhoods, right? Comparing and contrasting what was driving it. And if you're a nerd out there like to do that, you're going to end up attracting other nerds who do this stuff, right? And just don't be afraid to attract the type of people that want to use you, but use the numbers that are out there. The numbers that you guys have access to in your MLS and with your market trend stats that you guys have on your websites, no one's got that. Use it. right? And make people feel at ease. Because again, like to your point, Jenny, it doesn't matter. People are going to buy and sell homes no matter what the state of the market is. And frankly, I know more people, especially now, who are going to want to buy low if it even happens at all, right? So yeah. And talk about too, like financial literacy and insight. That's absolutely huge. Like having a cash out stock. Like, what about using a mortgage? What about using all cash, all cash and versus a mortgage? Like, how does that work for competition? These are all things you need to start answering. Like, I don't know anything about the Oregon market. You guys do. That's where you guys have a huge advantage. All right.
So true. Thank you, Nobu. Thank you for all the great reminders, and thank you for your time today.
No problem. I'll give you guys the deck, or you should have it already, and then you all can hit me up anytime, and I'll see you guys in March at your hill run.
Yeah, counting on it. See you soon. Thanks, Nobu. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Kelly put all the logistical details in the chat. If you have any questions, call us here at the Oregon Realtors. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nobu. Thank you, Kelly.